Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Mangog, and more specifically the thing that you did not hear about Mangog posted anywhere. And before we get any further into the video, I do completely understand that the entire champion's worth cannot possibly be based on a fight against Realm of Legends Winter Soldier, yada yada yada. Utility is a big part of Mangog's kit, completely agree. But I personally firmly believe that at some point, if a damage drops low enough, it pretty much doesn't matter what utility a champion has. If a champion would take 500 hits instead of 200 hits, nobody's going to use a champion who takes 500 hits to do anything. Because fact of the matter is, this is a competitive game, not only for alliances, but also for champions. And champions compete in between themselves for our attention, for our catalysts, for our precious rank of resources. And you do have to look at each champion based on other champions. And unfortunately, Mangog is not looking really good. Mangog is not really looking good at all. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go over some clips now. I'm not gonna show you all of them in full, but right here I do have a rank 3 5-star unduped Mangog. And we're going to be playing his quote-unquote damage rotation. Now, I do not have Suicide Masteries active. I do have Mystic Dispersion, and I do understand that this is not like an perfect matchup for a champion as Mangog, because ideally you want opponent to have buffs, like many Mystic champions do. But still, he's a champion that had been touted as a champion who has a damage rotation, right? And that involves dropping that level 1, getting to 10 hatred, dropping your level 2, charging that heavy attack, dealing a whole blitz of damage, and then kind of rinse repeat if you can, because there is still possibility of your hatred just expiring, kind of like thing. Either way, so here is the first level 2, I'm charging my heavy attack, I'm waiting for him to hit me, wonderful. Here, unfortunately, he does have a level 1, and I need to start kind of like it all over again. I wanted to drop that level 1 while I still had a few reactive. So the damage rotation is not like difficult, obviously, it's just basically kind of built level 2, but to have a full loop of it, it's not as easy either. But let's say I'm not playing him the best or playing him perfectly, which probably can be said as well, why not? But fact of the matter is that even though we are quote-unquote using Mangog's damage rotation, Winter Soldier's health bar isn't really changing all that quickly. Now again, once you have used it level 2, you need to drop multiples of level 1s just so you can get more of those hatreds back and you can enter your OP beast damage mode and all that good stuff, right? So we're gonna go through another cycle. And in fact, I'm not gonna keep you guys too long here. I'm gonna fast forward it very quickly. I didn't even want to do the entire fight. But let's just see another, like, a round of level 2, if we will. So I'm going here, my level 2, power gain, wonderful. Charging heavy attack, about to get that fury, decent damage, 14k. He used his level 1, and I'm going for my level 2, and there we go, damage, sum is done. Anyway, so we're going to end up dealing 30% damage. 30% damage with Mangog's quote-unquote damage rotation, or let's say close to it. So at this point I paused it. I wanted to see exactly how many hits I had done, just for pure research purpose. 187 hits for 30% damage. That's what it took. So if my math serves me right, the totality of that fight in his damage rotation should have been over 600 hits. And now I have brought in unduped Immortal Iron Fist for a damage comparison, because that's a Mystic rank 3 that I had. Mangog wasn't duped, and Mangog does benefit slightly from his duped ability. Not as much as Iron Fist would have, but still, if Mangog is duped, he would hit slightly harder. And yeah, I just wanted to see how many hits it would take for a rank 3 unduped Iron Fist, who is a champion of a desperate need in rework. Nobody's saying that Iron Fist damage is great, especially unduped, especially without Synergy Team. And basically, Iron Fist did quite significantly better. Iron Fist did quite significantly better. I think the fight is here, 150 something. and Mangog was 180. So Iron Fist, a champion that's significantly outdated, who benefits a lot from his awakened ability, does outdamage Mangog as is, right? And that is when you use Mangog's quote-unquote damage rotation. So even such an outdated champion, unduped, in basically worst conditions possible for that champion, did better. But the whole point of Mangog and the whole selling point of the Mangog was his utility, right? And his utility is also the reason why you would take off Suicide Masteries, just like I have done in this video. So what we really want to take a look at is, if we want to access Mangog's utility, is what kind of damage are we looking at then, and how viable is that utility. So here we can see that at 30 hit mark I have activated that energy immunity charge thingy that he has to give him a whole bunch of immunities. But the damage numbers seem even less impactful than they did before. And we can see that they only lasted for about 25% of the time. Well, actually, it's still active, but yeah, let's say they last for about maximum half of the fight. So that's not really good enough to be considered an uptime as an immunity. Now, granted, obviously, if you do keep staggering buffs, you can maintain a high amount of time. But that, again, is very conditional. And unless you are able to stagger buffs frequently, that utility is well, first of all, not really reliable there, because you can't, for instance, bring him in for his shock immunity, because the shock immunity is active only half of the time. But that put aside, let's just look at the damage. Let's just look at the damage numbers. You can notice that we are closing in on 100 hits, and we haven't even done 10% damage yet. So we have done 100 hits to Winter Soldier with a rank 3 5-star, and we have not done 10% of the damage with Mangog's quote-unquote utility rotation. That is quite pathetic, and I do not think that anybody would be interested in watching the full fight, and I don't think anybody would have patience to do that entire fight with Winter Soldier. But if math doesn't fail me, 118 hits to do 10% damage, then it would be over 1,000 hits, including Assassin's Mastery, to finish off Winter Soldier, right? And nobody would possibly be stupid enough to actually go and try and do that, except I was, because I wanted to prove a point here. So I started the fight again, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see how long it takes, and I want to see exactly how many hits it's going to be. Obviously, I'm not gonna subject you guys to it, but you can see that 290 hits, he's at 74. So we are at what? Let's go to 470 hits, he's at 58%. Let's keep on winding further. And that is his utility rotation. His utility rotation basically demands you spamming that level 1. And that is something you can't do with Suicide Masteries, even though he's kind of built as a pseudo-suicide-friendly mystic, which was one of the things that I was hoping for the guy. And let's keep on going, This is his utility rotation. I'm literally just doing 5-hit combos, dropping level 1s, not doing anything else to like artificially inflate the count or whatever. I'm just kind of like trying to have as much of that immunity uptime as possible, let's say. And this fight has already, in real time, been 15 minutes, 16 minutes, 17 minutes, what again, 18 minutes. 1,052 hits. So this entire fight took exactly 18 minutes with a rank 3 5-star to do. And this is one of those things that you don't really get talked about. Mangog can do this, Mangog's fine rotation, Mangog's cool, and all is good with Mangog. But the damage is just pitiful. Yes, you can, again, run him with Suicide Masteries, then you would increase your damage. But again, if you run Suicide Masteries, you can't access his utility on level 1, which is meant to be a big part of his kit. And as I said, even without Suicide Masteries in his damage rotations, I think he would have finished at Winter Soldier in about 600 hits. So if you run the level 2 rotation, you can probably do it, well, again, at 600 hits, which still isn't great, which is still worse than Iron Fist. And for comparison, I just wanted to use a different champion randomly. I brought in a rank 3 5-star Punisher. And again, Punisher is a champion that Doesn't shine for his damage, but has fairly handy bits of utility in. But unlike Mangog, he doesn't need to change his rotation for most part. You can just go and do whatever you want. And a champion like Punisher, who doesn't have the greatest damage or anything like that, did the fight 3 times as fast, because the hit count is inflated even more because he has multi-hit special attacks, so he finished it at like 400 something hits. I made a few mistakes. If I hadn't pushed Winter Soldier at level 3, I would have finished it in like probably around 400 hits, and it was a third of the time, less than half the amount of hits, and I think, well, yeah, that just shows exactly how bad champions are getting released. I think Mangog would have had a potential to be a good champion. I think Mangog would have had a potential to be a good champion, but I think somebody just absolutely butchered this guy. I think somebody just went to the town with numbers and probably halved his damage output or half the numbers that he's supposed to put out. Because I refuse to believe that in 2021, a champion should be performing like this. Now, I do understand that not everybody can be a damage dealing champion, but this damage is so bad that regardless of anything else that this champion could potentially do outside of sitting in alliance with defense, he is not worth investing in any resources or using, in my personal opinion, until they fix him. And that just makes it all the more frustrating. They are trying to do a great job with balancing and updating and buffing champions. Why the hell are they releasing champions that are obviously in a need of desperate number tweaks? Why the hell is Kabam pushing out these champions like Psychoman, like Super Skrull, and Mangog, who are pathetic? They would have been pathetic by 2021 standards, by 2020 standards, by 2019, 2017, and 2016 standards. I think at best this champion could be pseudo-relevant at the time in 2016, but even then with champions like Archangel, we wouldn't have really done much with this guy. So I think it's a fairly sad state of affairs when champions like this, with numbers like this, manage to get into live servers. And I also find it very interesting that this hasn't been properly brought up. But anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Well, I definitely had to put in some time into making this one, so if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, hit that sub button, that would be superb. See you later, guys. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the